Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we're going to be discussing the Thrive Technical Assistance Program. The portal just opened for consultants and business coaches looking to provide consulting services to local small businesses. I'm joined today by Teresa Benicasa, Program Manager for the Department of Economic Initiatives of Fairfax County, and Jamie Goucher, Division Manager for the Department of Economic Initiatives of Fairfax County. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Okay. I'm going to do an overview of what we're going to be going over today. Today's agenda, we're going to do introductions and Thrive program overview. We're going to go over the Thrive request for proposal overview. We're going to go over the RFP timeline. We're going to discuss the business consulting RFPs available. We're going to review the proposal requirements. We're going to go over how to apply through the Thrive portal. We're going to review the forms A and B and instructions. We're going to discuss how to submit your proposal, how to get help with your application, and lastly, we're going to close with questions. The Fairfax County Department of Economic Initiatives, DEI, leads programs and initiatives to foster economic development and position Fairfax County to be an economically competitive and prosperous community for all the Fairfax County. The Thrive program was created to address an immediate need for businesses that have been impacted by COVID-19. The program is designed to empower local small businesses and provide targeted technical assistance in areas of needs. Fairfax County small business negatively impacted by the pandemic may apply to qualify and receive non-cash technical assistance services grants valued at up to $10,000. The goal of the program is to help small businesses build capacity and meet individual business goals, address economic and consumer shifts, and support business planning. LADC is the contract administrator for the program. We're going to be managing the request for proposals. We're going to be contracting the business coaches and business consultants, and we're going to be reviewing the small business applications and eligibility. A little bit about our organization. We're a nonprofit entity and our mission is to drive the economic and social advancement of low to moderate income families in the DC metropolitan area by equipping them with the skills and tools that they need to achieve financial independence. We're able to achieve our mission by providing free services to the community, such as technical assistance services to small businesses and microloans. And through our housing program, we offer pre-purchase education and foreclosure prevention services. Before we move forward, please consider the following. You may place your questions in the chat box throughout the presentation. Questions will be answered during the designated time slot at the end of the presentation. Questions not addressed today will be included in our FAQ section of our site, and the presentation recordings will be made available on the LADC website. So let's look now at the Thrive request for proposals. LADC has issued 4 requests for proposals, RFPs, to seek business consulting and coaching entities. These entities will directly provide technical assistance to small businesses eligible for Thrive. It is recommended that potential applicants review all available RFPs and choose the ones that best suits them. Please visit our website at ladcmetro.org by clicking on the Programs tab and choosing Direct Community Investments and choosing Thrive Small Businesses Technical Assistance Grant Program. You will also find a link here on the presentation for you to view the RFPs available. The 4 available RFPs are the following. We're seeking RFPs for financial planning, marketing, operations, and business coaching. So let's review what the THRIVE program timelines are. The portal opened June 26th. The portal opened for business consulting and business coaching RFPs. The portal will close August 4th. That is the application deadline. The portal will close for offers at 5 p.m. During the early fall of 2023, business consultant and business coaches will be selected. And during mid-fall, THRIVE Technical Assistance Grant opens to THRIVE Fairfax County small business applicants. Okay, we're currently seeking consultants RFPs. We're seeking consultants in 3 areas of service: marketing, business operations, and financial planning. We seek experts who can share their expertise and help small businesses thrive. This is a business-to-business opportunity. There is approximately $6 million in funding available to serve 600 small businesses. Successful offers will be paid for the services provided. RFP considerations. Offerors may apply to one or multiple RFPs. However, offerors will only be contracted to provide services as either a business consultant or a business coach. Successful offers will be offered a 1-year contract. Today's webinar is focused on 3 business consulting RFPs. A separate webinar on the business coaching services RFP will be held tomorrow, July 7th at 11:30 a.m. So the RFPs available for consultants. So let's take a look at those more closely. So we're seeking consultants. The first RFP is for marketing services. For the purpose of this RFP is to identify 1 or more qualified offers to contract with LEDC to provide consulting services in marketing to THRIVE small business beneficiaries. Marketing is the process of promoting Marketing is the process of promoting and selling products or services designed to bring an increased profitability to our THRIVE small business beneficiary. For the purpose of this RFP, they may be offered in 1 or more of the 7 defined service areas, which are the following: brand consulting, graphic design services, develop e-commerce, develop a website, product business photography session, digital presence assessment and strategy, or other marketing services. If an offer does not see that there is service that is not listed on this specific RFP, they can include it as part of the proposal, and we'll be evaluating that proposal and making a decision. For the business operations RFP, we seek consultants to provide services in business operations to THRIVE small business beneficiaries with internal systems designed to bring efficiency and increase profitability to a THRIVE small business beneficiary. For the purpose of this RFP, they may be offered in 1 or more of 8 defined service areas, which are: 1, set up POS, point of sale systems, assist with set up payroll system, set up booking or appointment system, set up booking systems, lease negotiation consulting, human services, consulting services and tools, talent acquisition, development, retention services and tools, and lastly, other operation services. Again, if there's something that's not included here, offers can include it as part of their proposals, and we'll be evaluating those offers and make it a decision internally. Next, the business, we are seeking consultants to provide services in financial planning to Thrive small business beneficiaries. Financial planning services analyze assets, income, expenses, and other financial aspects of a Thrive small business beneficiary in order to achieve their financial goals and increase profitability. For the purpose of this RFP, they may be offered in one or more of the four of the following defined service areas, which are 1, financial planning and projections, 2, financial checkups and consulting services, 3, corporate tax advice, 4, other financial planning services. And again, if an offer does not see a service that is included here, they can include it as part of the proposal, and we'll be making those decisions internally. So who should apply? Businesses or nonprofits that have been operating their current organization for at least 2 years from the date of submission. They do not have to be located in Fairfax County. Businesses that are able to demonstrate experience in the proposed areas of consulting, marketing, financial planning, and business operations. The preferred experience that we're looking for are for businesses that have experience, that can demonstrate experience working with small, minority-owned, women-owned, and or veteran-owned businesses. This experience with working with local businesses is a plus. Offerors may opt to include information about staff capacity to assist with language translation. If offers do include this information about staff capacity to assist with translation with their proposals, is something that will, it will not be considered an advantage, nor will it be evaluated. Okay, I'm going to turn it over now to Teresa Benincasca, Program Manager for the Department of Economic Initiatives of Fairfax County. Welcome. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you, Maria. Welcome, everyone. For the second half of this presentation, I'm going to take a deeper dive into the requirements if you're interested in applying for the Thrive Business Consulting RFPs. Essentially, what you have in front of you is a chart that shows you what are the 9 components that comprise a complete proposal or a complete RFP. It would include your contact information, acknowledgement of the contract's terms and conditions, a description of your qualifications and experience, a description of the service area that you're interested in providing. We are also looking for some supporting documents to demonstrate your experience, including some staff resumes, proof of capability, a list of businesses served, and we have 2 required forms for this RFP. One is the good standing requirement, and the second one will be a budget and work plan spreadsheet. The reason we have 2 columns here is we want to point out that essentially a complete proposal includes all of these components, but for each service area, and you might have noted that Maria just described to you all of the many options you have within each RFP, you will be expected to provide an individual description of that service along with these supporting documents, including a budget and work plan. So some of the components that are only checked once, they're only one time for each RFP. If it's checked twice, it means we need that information for each service area that you are proposing. Another note I want to make is the reason we're sharing this is we're going to go ahead and take you through a little bit of a snapshot of what the actual application portal looks like. But keep in mind that most of the work for this will be done outside of the portal. And if you are able to gather up your documents and write your brief descriptions, you can essentially use the portal as an easy and efficient way to upload your application and move you through the process. Next. Essentially, now we're going to take a moment. The next 15 or so slides are going to be both a combination of describing the requirements as well as giving you kind of some portal navigation tips. Essentially, so that's the main thing that we talked about. So let's move to the next slide. So getting started. So many of you might have already tried this. Basically, you can create an account on the LEDC for your application with your email. This is an account you can use in different ways. You can start your application and return and save. You can use this account to apply for more than one RFP. The second part of the information to get started will be basic contact information. Please note that while you and your team might prepare pieces of the application outside the portal, the actual submission needs to be completed by an authorized representative of your organization with signature authority. The businesses, we are looking for businesses that have, as Maria mentioned already, have been in business for at least 2 years. And I'm sorry, organizations, business or nonprofit, must be established for at least 2 years. Please note that we are expecting you to take a minute and review the terms and conditions in this application. You can find those in the appendix at the bottom of the application, and they include both LEDC's organizational terms and conditions, as well as the federal funding terms and conditions required. Please note that successful offers will be expected to sign a contract that includes these terms and conditions. Next. So now we're going to show you a little bit of two things. One is what is the information, along with a few tips. This will be the first information you complete. It's pretty straightforward. Your contact information, as we discussed. We just want to point out that a key tip for you is to use the edit button. The edit button throughout your portal allows you to populate the fields that is being requested for you. So the edit button is something we wanted you to know about right off the bat, so it's easy to apply. Next. The other important button is, of course, save, where many of us are familiar with that. This portal will require you to save your information by section, and it will remind you to save. So that is another important functional button for proceeding through the application. Next. So essentially, the LEDC portal has a very helpful banner. You can see I have it circled at the top, RFP and forms. This sort of helps you guide where you are in the application process. We just completed contact information in the banner. Now we're moving to RFP and forms. What this basically is a resource for you. All of the RFPs are located here and can be downloaded along with the 2 required forms. This is a message we have for all applicants. Please take the time to read the application in full. It has a lot of great information about how Thrive works, as well as the specific requirements. And so this will help you make a decision of where you will be most competitive in the application process. Next. So what's the first thing you're going to work on? Well, after you make a decision about what RFP you want to apply to, which maybe line of business you're interested in applying for, and it could be more than one, you're going to go forward and describe your organization's overall qualifications and experience. I won't go over each of these in detail, but just high level, understand we're trying to understand your organization, your experience with what you're proposing to do. We are very interested if you have some experience working with small businesses. As Maria mentioned early on, the ultimate beneficiaries of Thrive who will receive your technical service are the small businesses located in Fairfax, those with 49 or fewer employees. We welcome all applications with expertise, but if you have that experience, let us know. We'd also really like to get a feel for your organization's capacity. You know, how many businesses do you feel like you're able to serve weekly, monthly? If you could provide us some guidance about that as we think through. And of course, tell us why you're what's your edge from other offers. Oh, I'd also like to mention the blue arrow. This is important for many of you who've prepared proposals in your life. This is our page limit, requested page limit. If you could keep your description to under 2 pages, we ask that you look for these throughout the application, and if you could adhere to them, thank you. Next. So after you describe your qualifications, you're also going to be presented with a selection, a drop-down menu, section A, of just trying to tell us which service areas you're interested in applying for. Essentially, this is easy click. The reason I'm highlighting the red X's is the Thrive portal will let you know that red X means still to be completed. And when it's completed, it moves to a green check mark. I wrote example service area here because for the purposes of this presentation, we just selected financial planning for demo. Next. This is the next part of your application where you will tell us a little bit more about what we really want to know is how are you going to help our businesses succeed with your service? So tell us a little bit about your approach to what you plan to deliver. Please note though, in the RFP, LEDC has spelled out some very sort of expectations of what they're expecting under, say, brand assessment or a particular field. Please read that and tell us how you plan to execute the service delivery using Thrive as your guide. And essentially, we'd love to know a little bit more about your personnel and how you communicate. How do you do business? Tell us a little bit about your availability for working with business. And thirdly, this is what Maria alluded to earlier. We're really interested in any organizations where your staff might have multilingual capabilities. Just let us know about that. This is not a requirement for the Thrive proposal, but if you have that capacity, please let us know for future matching. Next. So we have 3 sets of documents we're going to ask you to upload per service area. Please upload some staff resumes to let us know who might be working on the project. We have what we're calling proof of capability or demonstrated ability. This is a really open-ended category that you basically can let us share with us some example of your work that's pertinent to what you're offering. It's very wide open and you can see it there. Third, we'd love to get a list of the past businesses that you've worked with as an example of your work. Oh, and I should also mention, portal tip, the red circle. LEDC has created a very easy portal to upload. Once you prepare your work, click, you upload your document in any format and you're ready to go. Next. So this is the first of the 2 required forms. Essentially, this is an attestation of your standing to do business in Virginia and validates that you have taken care of all of the necessary licenses, permits, and certifications associated with doing business. This is a fillable form. Please complete it by an authorized representative and upload it as part of your application one time for the RFP. Next. Now, the next 4 slides look a little overwhelming, but it really is not as overwhelming as it looks. This is basically an Excel spreadsheet that you're going to complete that's going to describe the service area, and it's going to tell us what your proposed fee structure is for that. Please note that we're expecting whatever you do propose to stay in effect for till December 2024. And essentially what you're going to do is download this form, and what I'm showing you here is also on the form. LEDC has created several worksheets to give you both directions and a fillable form, which you will then upload. Next, more guidance. More guidance on this. Essentially, we're looking for you to describe the tasks associated with this program and the cost, the proposed cost. We're looking to see that you're ready to do this efficiently for the many, many businesses that we expect to apply for Thrive. Secondarily, please note that any one service area should not exceed $10,000 in price. However, that is not a guide for what it should cost. We are looking for competitive proposals, so give us the cost of the individual service. Next. This is just some how-tos. You're going to see these green arrows popping up. You'll get this on the worksheet. Essentially, the point of this is to show you that it's a drop-down sort of form. You will tell us what the service area, and by the way, you do 1 budget worksheet per service area. You list the tasks. That's where you populate and let us know what the tasks are to get to the final deliverable for the client. Next. On the other side, you'll let us know, of course, what RFP this is affiliated with. We are looking for an estimate of what you estimate the amount of time to complete an individual task, including the total time, as well as the total costs. And if you could include the calendar, kind of an estimate of the calendar days, the time frame you envision to deliver the service. Next. So you should be wrapping up at this point, and LEDC has included a way for you to make sure that everything that you were supposed to submit has been submitted. And that will be indicated by the green check marks in the checklist. Now, for those of you that like to check your work before you submit, you will have to go to each individual section to check a particular document if you want to double check. There isn't really a way to look at the document as a whole, but you are able to access every part of your application by just simply going back and looking at it by section. Next. So you're ready to submit your proposal. There'll be several parts to this. First, you'll have to complete the attestation. Then you'll save that and make sure your whole application is saved. And the save button here then performs a second function. It also functions as a submit button. So you will get a pop-up that will say, hey, are you ready to apply? If so, go ahead and save acts as submit. Please note, we will not be able to alter applications after submission. And you will receive an email confirmation that your application has been received. Next. So what happens after you apply? Well, then the LADC team gets to work with the qualified reviewers, and this is sort of the rubric that we are presenting as what we're going to be evaluating on. Essentially, as we indicated before, we want to hear about strong organizational experience, any ability to work with small businesses or a competitive advantage that you might have. We're looking for clean, organized plans, efficient plans to deliver the service, a recognition that you read the RFP and you understand what we're looking for. We're looking for a proof of demonstrated ability. And most importantly, you'll note, we're looking for value. This is federal money. We want to do a good job getting this service out into the community. So we're looking for reasonable fees. Next. So after every offer who takes the time to apply will receive notification in early fall. Those that have been successful will be invited to sign a contract and work with LEDC to do so. Then they will, all successful offers become really part of a THRIVE program. There will be some orientation, a little bit of administrative requirements training, but the whole structure is designed to be efficient for you. What I think is important to note here is that the business development part of this is going to be basically largely done for those that are successful. We are talking about referring businesses to you directly for service that are matched to your special talents and abilities. The THRIVE program is intended to create even more robust small business service in our community. And so you become part of a program that will be widely publicized with the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors, the community, and in many business support forums. In THRIVE, the funding goes directly to the providers. So essentially, you will be paid upon successful completion of the service under the terms that LEDC sets in your contract. Next. So getting help with your application should not be a barrier, and we have lots of ways to help you. Essentially, start with the portal, and you will see that within the portal, LEDC has a live chat that's available to help you in real time, answer your questions, any questions you might have. My understanding is LEDC is all going to post, in addition to these webinars, they're going to post maybe some vignettes on portal navigation that might be helpful. You can ask questions now directly to the THRIVE RFP LADC email that we see here. And of course, Fairfax County is sponsoring a very robust website where you can find all the information you need to apply. Next. So again, this is a program to benefit our community as well as you as a small business or nonprofit. You are also a beneficiary if you're a successful offer. This is a large program. We're looking for a lot of applications and a lot of vendors. So please help us spread the word among your networks. We need those applications in by August 4th. And as a former writer of proposals, I'm going to suggest try to get it in a little early. So if you need a little assistance, there's time to do so. And now I think we're going to take a moment and hear what some of the questions are. And I'm going to turn it over to the program manager for Thrive, Laura Bentley, that we're working with, and she will handle some of the questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Teresa. And thank you everyone for joining and for your attention today. We're really excited to be launching this program. I did want to go over a couple of the questions that have come in over the chat. We might not be able to answer all of these live on the webinar, but as Teresa mentioned, there is always our email address. You're welcome to either email us directly or reach out through the portal. We can definitely work through those questions with you. I'm going to look at the ones that are more general, so applicable to most listeners, and try to knock some of those out for you all. Okay, to start off here, we had a question, is the Thrive program only for the Latino-owned businesses? Just so that you all are aware, our name, LEDC, or Latino Economic Development Center, does have Latino in the name, but we serve all business owners, all clients, regardless of race or ethnicity, and that is also true of the Thrive program. So the Thrive program is for any business, regardless of race or ethnicity of the owner. Another question was, is this program for businesses in a particular industry? In terms of the small business applicants, when this program opens up to them, there is no limit on the industry that businesses can be coming from. In terms of this RFP, as Maria and Teresa outlined, there are 3 specific areas, of course, that we are looking for, and that is marketing, operations, and financial planning services. So that would be kind of the specializations that we would be looking for consultants who are applying. As a reminder, if you are looking for a copy of these slides, those will be posted on the LEDC website. So feel free to look at those later, as well as the recording on our website. Also a question that came in to reiterate part of the presentation. The question was, can a company apply for both coaching and consulting RFPs? The answer is yes. You are welcome to submit a proposal for both consulting and coaching RFPs, including any of the 3 consulting proposals. You could submit up to 4 if you would like, but please know that you will only be selected. Each entity can only be selected as either a consultant or a coach. So you could be, if you had specialization in both marketing and financial planning, for example, you could be chosen to provide service areas in those different types of consulting service areas. But at the end of the day, selected offers will be either consultants or coaches. So if that clarifies there. An additional question that we had was regarding language. So as Teresa indicated, we're just interested to understand that if you have on your staff or either yourselves the ability to offer services to our small business beneficiaries in other languages, we'd love for you to share that with us so we can help them with those needs. But we're interested in both indications of Spanish or other languages that you may have. And if you don't have those other language capabilities, that's just fine. No worries there. And then lastly, 2 questions that we had as well to highlight. We had a question regarding the good standing forms. The question was, our state doesn't issue a good standing form. What documents can be submitted in lieu of this form? So as Teresa mentioned, the good standing form is something that is provided to you in the portal or on our website. You can download it there, fill it in, and provide it back in the application. So it's a standard form. No other forms are necessary. It does not need to be issued by your state. It's an attestation that you have done all of the requirements in order to do business in the state of Virginia. And then lastly here that I wanted to mention, we have a question, how will small businesses be matched to the service options? So for the consultants that are selected to be part of our roster of consultants, at the point in time later in the fall, when our small business applicants are applying, they pass through the eligibility criteria and they're selected as beneficiaries. At that time, the small businesses will work first with a business coach who will help them understand what are the best service areas for them in order to help their business grow. And so then those service areas that are selected by the coach, that will inform the connection with the consultant. So essentially the business coach will be helping the small businesses understand those service options. And then as the LEDC will be helping to facilitate that connection and essentially assignment of businesses as referrals to the consultants on our roster. So hope that clarifies. I know that there are a couple of additional questions that are here, but please know that you can continue to message us separately for those, and we can speak specifically on your particular businesses, special cases, or anything else that we weren't able to answer this time that may come to you as an additional question. Feel free to message us at any point in time while the RFP is open. We are happy to assist. I think those were most of the main questions there, Teresa.
Okay. That's
Take another
terrific.
glance here in
Yes.
case anything else comes through the chat.
Yeah, we'll take a minute. Like I said, thank you for all those very excellent questions. And we are excited about your possible participation in this program, and we're excited to roll this out to our local business community. And as Laura mentioned, we, unlike some of the previous ARPA programs, will not have any restriction on type of sector, only by size and if they meet the COVID impact, along with a few other eligibility requirements, but very open-ended. So whether you're a small or large firm, we encourage you to apply. I think that's it. I mean, is that it, Laura?
Yeah, I think I might add, in glancing through the ones that have come in most recently, just two more questions that I think might be useful for everyone to know. One of the questions was, is there an estimated number of businesses that would be referred to each business consultant? So I think, as Teresa mentioned, our goal for the program, we have funding to serve 600 businesses. And so we will be seeing kind of what that demand is from business services, and that will best inform really how many referrals that we make. So in that sense, that gives kind of the scope of size that we're working with, but it will really depend on what the small businesses need and what particular service areas they're looking for. And the last question that I wanted to share here was a question on the net terms of payment. So in terms of the payment schedule, once the deliverable has been made by the consultant, once those services have been provided and that service has been confirmed through our portal by the consultant as having been completed, that's when we will be scheduling the payment. I think those were the two main ones here, Teresa.
Okay, great. I think I would just add one final note as we wrap up. Today's presentation, as Maria mentioned, has focused on business consulting RFPs. That's 3 of our 4 available RFPs. We will be hosting a similar webinar tomorrow, same time, 11:30. And the focus of that webinar will be on the business coaching, the role of the coach in Thrive, and the application requirements. So if you're interested in that, feel free to join by the Zoom link. There's no registration required. And again, both webinars will be posted to the websites. I think that's,
Yeah, I think there are a couple additional questions coming in. I do want to share that we will be putting together an FAQ of some of these questions as well, just so that we're able to not miss any here.
yeah.
Maybe one final one, Teresa, and
Yeah,
then we'll
it's
put the rest
fine.
of them in the FAQ.
That's what we're here for, right?
So we do have a question here that's talking about for businesses who are very specialized in their service offerings. So if they, for example, are specialized in marketing for restaurants and hospitality businesses, can they still apply, or is the Thrive program looking for a generalist? That's the question. And so I would definitely encourage, if you do have a specialization, just to make that clear to us in your application. We are very excited to understand, for example, if your specialty is food and hospitality, then if businesses come in who are looking at that service area and are in that industry, having that knowledge would just help us to align the benefit to the business even better by understanding that specialty. So I would say the answer is, even if you have a specialty, that is not a reason not to apply for Thrive. We are looking for both generalists and specialists in the service areas of marketing, operations, and financial planning.
Great.
And then there's one more here that is, the question is, would business coaches have the information on consultants to then make the referral? The answer is yes. So we'll have our established roster of consultants following this RFP process. And so that will allow then our business coaches, who are also being selected, of course, through the RFP process. Those coaches will be shared the roster of consultants, their specialty, any additional information, like if there's a language specialty or an industry specialty, as was mentioned, and that will help them as well recommend a consultant based on the service area and the assessment of the applicant. So again, depending on demand, we'll be able to take that recommendation into account, but that information will help the coaches make the best recommendation and best align your potential businesses with you as well. There's a question that came in that is there any insight into the selection process that you can share? So I definitely recommend the reviewing these slides that Teresa has shared. There will be an evaluation committee. There are a couple of evaluation sections and rubrics that we will be looking at as part of that evaluation. And so I invite you, as you are completing your proposal submission, to look over those criteria as well, but it will be a committee of reviewers who will be looking into those on a per service area basis. There's a question if proposals are held confidential or can names be redacted on resumes. Please do not redact your resume. We will be looking at that information, but yes, your proposal will be confidential. So I think that those are the main questions there. And again, we can compile an FAQ as a result of this webinar that can include as well any additional questions that come in.
Sure. These were great questions, Laura. really excited about the questions. And so just to add, like I said, we will have another webinar tomorrow. And since the same team is working on both RFPs, we will just take questions as they come in on anything, right? On anything related to the RFPs. Okay. So Laura, do you think we're wrapped up? Do you feel like we were able to check out the questions, or I know folks,
yeah, I feel like, yeah, for most of those that we're able to answer quickly. And then I think we can also compile that written FAQ for people to look at as well. So I think we're good on this end.
Okay, terrific. Well, thank you very much for your interest and time today. We appreciate it, and we're excited about the possibility of working with you in the future. Thank you for your time, and perhaps we'll see some of you tomorrow. Take care.